All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for Creatives Chat, episode 40, featuring I Am Chamel. Join us as we chat about who knows what. Our show shall begin now. Streaming from Retro Earth Studio and brought to you by wearehistorically.com, Conscious Human Apparel, and
Learn to play jazz piano like a pro, by a pro, with Jazz Piano Pro Essentials at jazzpianopro.com.
Thank you for joining us for another edition of Creatives Chat. I'm Rusty. I'm Snazzy.
And I'm Peter.
And Peter, why don't you tell our viewers who we have on our show today?
Ooh, Rusty, I'm incredibly excited. I've been trying to get this artist on for a while. She's an American songwriter, performer, and creative. She was born in Richmond, California, moved to Washington State, and currently resides in Seattle. She's always had a way with words, and when she was little, she would write poetry and sell the cards on many occasions. We have I Am Chamel.
Oh, this is going to be a great convo, everybody. Meet Chamel.
And welcome back. I'm so excited to have you on the show today, Chamel. How are you doing?
I'm good, bro. Thanks for having me, man.
Of course. Now, this is for the listeners that are curious. I'm incredibly excited for this one because I consider Chamel another master of tapping into the flow, because you're one of the firest freestylers that I've ever heard. And I think that was like the first time I actually got introduced to you it was like the martial law band house, and it was downstairs, and literally like within like the first 5 minutes of meeting you came up with the song Ashtray, and then it was just the new hit. So and I guess that's where I really want to kick off the show is in terms of your writing skills. You've been selling poetry and giving that entrepreneurial spirit using your writing and your lyrical talents even as a child. Like, what?
Yeah, crazy, huh? Oh,
Tell me more.
well, it started. My mom said, literally, growing up when I was little, like, I'm talking 2, 3. They would always just give me notebooks, and I would always just like write words, write people's names. I always had a notebook, even then, like, you know what I mean? They didn't know it would blossom to what it is today, but she said she listened to keep me still, sitting down, church, whatever, notebook, and I'm writing people's names, just stuff that don't even make sense, just doodling and stuff. And then growing up, even in school, like, I knew any writing classes, anything that had to do writing, I was never worried about, because I'm gonna break down the science of an orange peel. I'm gonna read one page of a whole thick novel that I have to read, and from that one page, I'm gonna break down the whole report and BS BS what it was, just because writing, I knew I could write. I started writing poetry, doing poems and stuff in church for different events, and then I ended up writing cards and things for people at my mom's jobs, like anniversary messages, birthday messages, graduation, just to say I love you, just to thank you, whatever it was, and it was paying. Like, so I was like, let's go. And then so writing, that was always cool. I started with the mute when it got introduced to the music aspect was freestyling. So I never once was like I wanted to be a singer, I wanted to be a musician. I always wanted to be a lawyer and then a judge, because arguing points and defending people. Like I always, I would always get in trouble for defending my friends. Like it was never things that was happening with me directly or anything. It was I'm not about to let, who you talking to? Like, them my people, like, you know what I mean? I'm the oldest of 5. So being a protector is just number one. So me in an association or acquaintance with people, it's if I rock with you, I rock with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I love you, I love you. If we're homie, I ride. You know, it's just that Capricorn loyalty, just who I am. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I get in trouble for that type of stuff. But when 7th grade math class, it was when the Maria.
Maria,
Hear that? And
Maria,
so
the West
it
Side
was the
Story.
easiest thing to make the beat with. So they was in the back of the math class, ill official family. I'll never forget Dolo Capelli. They're back there, teacher trying to teach, of course. And they're back there. I'm like, what are you guys doing that you guys just cannot pay attention to? You're just, because math was my favorite subject, that you guys just keep interrupting, that she has to stop to tell you guys to stop. Like, what is it going on back here? Like, they're like, oh, we're just freestyling, we're just spitting. I'm like, what is that? And literally he hits the beat. Bradley hit the beat, and Doe starts spitting, and I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? Like, this is filthy. Like, this, I need to know everything. And he was like, oh, it's easy. You just say whatever comes to your mind, just off the top, right then and there, to the beat. And I was like, no. He's like, yeah, you could try that break. Cool. I was like, cool. I'm thinking it's about to be like it was just in this classroom. You just coming up with words. Bro, we get break time, go in the hallway. They're making the beats on the locker. I say some stuff. He comes back, flames me. I'm like, whoa, you did not mention the part that we go at each other. Like, you forgot that aspect. I was like, oh yeah. I said, I said, okay, now that I know how this go, tomorrow it's running popping. And literally, like, I walked to and from school. So literally, I'm rapping about the color of the trees, the type of tree barks, the school group, any and everything in my sight. I'm just trying to, come up with stuff and see just the extras, because I'm like, oh, tomorrow that's not ever happening again. And literally, like, it's always been all love between me and him, but it literally became like a girl versus boy thing. And literally the hallways was packed with us, people just coming to watch us freestyle battle each other. Administrators are rushing the hallway, thinking there's a fight going on or something. And it's literally like, we just spitting. And ever since then, it's just been love at first sight. I'm like, sign me up. I'm about to be bigger than Michael Jackson. Let's go.
Yo, I love it. I love it. And I think that's one of the things that people may not recognize, though, is just the fact that, I mean, if you got to go experience Splash Fest, I mean, you won the freestyle battle rap. Like, the thing is, like, if you're stepping in the ring with Chamel, you got bars, and, like, I know I wouldn't. I'd be like, oh, from a distance, I might write some stuff. But, yo, I think that's just one of the things that's really fascinating, is that I'm assuming, I mean, this is kind of more of a question then, is like, how quickly does your mind operate? Because it must be coming quick and fast, because you're spitting fire. Like, it's the syncopation, just the rhythms and everything. It's like there's so much going on at once when the delivery comes out. This is why I know, like, oh, she's a guru of the flow. She knows exactly how to tap it and just let it go.
I appreciate it, but no, man, I'm just a vessel. That's all. That's all. I am. I'm literally like, I just I recognize that I have a gift that everybody don't have, but people they try to do, and it's like I don't take it for granted. And it's literally like my prayer and what I always want to do is just always have a message and a meaning behind it, and always to positively impact or affect other people, because music is a universal language for everything, bro. You know what I mean?
Facts.
You saw how crazy they went overseas for Michael Jackson and didn't understand a word that he said. It was the feeling. You feel me? It was what the artist provided as far as the connection with people, and it's like we go through so many things and experiences, and like, my childhood was different, coming out here and just and it was the only thing that just did not judge you. You know, it didn't have
Yeah.
paper and a pen doesn't have an opinion. It doesn't tell you anything. It's waiting for you to put something on it. You know what I mean? It's
Oh,
waiting for
yes.
you to give it an identity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and for me, it was my release. You know what I mean?
Mm.
It's the only because I've fought and just was just wild as a kid. So it was just I'm like, I can't be the only one. You know what I mean? Somebody's gotta connect or feel or experience one of the things I've experienced or seen or so.
Oh, no, entirely. And I think that's one of the things right there that, I mean, I'm just thinking back of the lost tapes, and it was Prison Break, and it's just learning how to love yourself. Like for me, that's one of those tracks that hit deep because, I mean, again, like, grown up mix, you have that experience, just like all the different things that I've gone through with my siblings and all this. I mean, really just life with my parents and all that. And I think it's something that people really take for granted. It's just the journey that it does take to actually come into the uniqueness that you were given and gifted. And that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Like your hair. You make kids in your hair. Like you guys listen, your hair is beautiful. You know what I mean? You are beautiful. But think about just all that you had to experience and go through and deal with just even identity wise
Yeah.
of where you fit in. It's tough. And then it's like think about it. We spend 18 years of our life. Well, for those people that go to college, spend more, but at least
Yeah.
18 years of our life trying to get the approval and the validation from not only our parents, but our peers, our coaches, teachers, and mentors.
Yeah.
You feel me? And
Oh,
in
yeah.
and this whole time that you're growing and you're elevating through life, you have other people telling you what you should be or how you should be to be you.
Right. Right.
How
And
is
it's and very few people, and I think that's one of the things, like, I'm always grateful for that experience, and everything that I've been through, because, I asked myself these questions super young. So it's like I kind of broke down like this certain identity at a very young age, and like, who am I really? Like I've been asking myself those like deep introspective questions for a hot minute, and it's led me to where I'm at now. But it's one of the same things that, people really do take for granted, just the aspects of what you aren't exactly what the world sees. And just coming to know that and coming into who you are is one of the things that I find so fascinating. It's like, it's kind of like you were saying, it's a double-edged sword in terms of your heart. It's like you're a caring person, I'm a caring person, and that's been manipulated. How to learn how to cover that up, how to learn how to protect myself.
I'm still trying to figure it out. You feel me? Like I still don't get that. Like how do you protect yourself and stay on a defensive when you don't go through life or you don't even have the mentality or thought of doing people wrong, let alone that people
Right.
are intentionally going to try to screw you over. You know what I mean? Or take advantage of you and who you are, and you're all because you're nice, I'm nice, and we're just genuine people. We're always getting the side eye like, oh, yeah, they got a motive. No, nigga, like this is really how you're supposed to treat people. You know what I mean? Like this is really how you're supposed to be. And it's like, oh wait, what's the catch? But then you got the one over here plotting, scheming, and planning. It's like, yo, it's like he's a fraud.
Or like plotting for your destruction or some crazy shit.
Bro, it's real, bro. It's real.
Well, that's the point right there is, you said it so eloquently. And again, that's the thing is like, yo, listeners, you got to check out Chamel's music. Everything is like, I mean, I've never heard such motivational, inspirational rap delivered with such profound lyricism. And I think the thing is, you said that was just like, that hit hard is, is when you're looking back and reflecting on the youth and you're undergoing this healing process, that it's just, you have that different perspective for how you are now. And that, understand like, the acts of grace that some of these decisions and challenges were that brought you to like the being you are today. And you turned your suffering into power because you're a powerhouse when it comes to the rap game. I'm telling you, and I think that's the coolest part is like, when did you consciously undergo this process of healing? Like, when did you decide that it's like, nah, I need to like actually unbaggage this shit?
Music, probably 7th grade. The first time I spit when I'm like I just, that adrenaline rush, that feeling, that sensation of being able to on the spot be like, I'm taking everything out on you right now.
So
Like,
sorry for those kids.
yeah, like, because everybody would always tell me how much potential I have, and you could do this, and you could be, and you know, they always say you could be whatever you want to be, and the potential that you have, apply it and do. And it's like, okay, let me see, let me see what'll happen. And so just redirecting that into music. I will never forget that. So it was a seventh grade year summer going into the eighth grade. You're talking about somebody that was getting suspended 2 to 3 times a month. You feel
Wow.
me? Literally up until eighth grade. And I think eighth grade, I got suspended one time because I got into a fight at a dance. But literally making that change over that summer, having a heart to heart with the family, being back in California, and just really being like, all right, I'm gonna get back, I'm gonna get on my shit. And then having that music introduction during that time. And it's like, let me write. Let me just put everything into this. You know, I rap, like literally rapping, freestyling was nothing. My mom listened to gospel music and my dad listened to jazz. So literally in the car, I'm just freestyling and picking different instruments of different things going on to ride to get in this pocket, to you know, in jazz music, all the musicians fill up every pocket. So then it's like, okay, when they break it down, I'm gonna be this, and then I'm gonna do this, and it's just finding, and it just helped, you know. And again, like not being judged by the paper when I did sit down to write, when I did get a chance to actually grab a pen and express myself on paper. Like you have the million and one thoughts before you write your first anything. That paper is just like, let's go. You know what I mean? I'm a blank cat. What's up? You know what I mean? Let's get it. And you're like, oh shit, should I write this? Should I say that? You're the one with the reservations. You're the one with the hesitation and the going through the mental, whatever you go through, self-doubt, talking to you. We talk ourselves in and out of this greatness in a matter of seconds.
Right.
I mean, and it's like, just it not doing that was just like, okay, I found it. Yeah.
Found it. Well, yes, you did. I mean, I just thinking about it. It's one of the lines that always sounds so. It just gives like such visualization. I guess that's one of the things that I always try to highlight for artists that come on the show is that anytime that you know they evoke such emotion that you feel it, and they can paint a picture that you can just see it while you're hearing. It's like almost synesthesia, like you're just seeing all the colors. Like, and it was your sauce so good, you're looking at the plate. Like for me, I'm just like, yes, like she's bringing the sauce like extra hard. And for me, I find that so refreshing, honestly, because again, you know, you do have that higher inspiration for your raps, you know, and I'm talking about the healing, talking about being your source of motivation and power, Black beauty, understanding what the real struggles are. Like it takes a lot of, I guess, not even just like maturity, but just like curiosity, introspection, just genius in a lot of ways to really express that stuff into written form. So in terms of the one comment that you made that like struck a chord with me was, you know, I'm just a vessel. I often say that and see myself as that as well for the flow and for the creator. And what's it like when you're just tapping into the flow and you're just witnessing life like a play?
It's beautiful. It's therapeutic. It's 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 selfishly the most selfless thing you can do, because you're doing it for the feel. You feel me? You're doing it for the release. You're doing it for the impact that it's gonna have. But for you to just be like, use me to touch the masses or the people, like, you know, the selfish part is use me, pick me. Okay, you pick me, great. Okay, cool. Let it flow through me. You feel me? But then the guide me part and the message to uplift, because I feel like there's enough bad people with power. or not, I wouldn't say bad people, but people with not good intentions.
Yeah.
You know, people that, no, bad people.
Yeah, we don't need to sugarcoat things. There are bad people. There are good people. There are bad people.
What happens when people actually want to do for good, want to be for better? Like, bro, I feel like we spend our entire lives trying to figure it out, and it all starts with us. Like, we never really truly get the chance to accept ourselves and love ourselves first. You know what I mean? So it's like the importance of that. Like, even with your peers and stuff, it's competition. It's all you can't shoot better than me. It's always something. It's always down. It's always negative. It's always you can't, or somebody else is better, or not. Think outside of the box that everybody wants you to be in. Even as an artist, it's like, you know, they know producers be hear one thing and they're like, oh, you're a battle rapper. No, like, I'm an artist. I'm a creator. You feel me? I write for all genres. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even, they would be surprised at the things that I come up with. And it's just, they'd be like, well, how did you come up with, like, you know, everybody wants to put you in a box or a mold or label you into something and make you want to fit something. And we're not supposed to be like that. Yeah. So to be able to have something that can reach people and to be authentic and genuine, I feel like that's what it's all about, and not losing that, growing and navigating through life, because there's no one size fits all. There's no right or wrong way. Like, we all have a start date and an end date.
Right.
Shit that happens in between.
It's like, that's on you. That's on you.
Once you recognize and realize that, you feel me?
Yeah.
Because I feel I truly believe, like, we all have a purpose, and our role and our impact on life is so crucial to us recognizing that and tapping into that and unapologetically being that, and walking in that and being okay. And it's like, I think one of the tough things for me is like, man, like, how do I do it effectively? You know what I mean? Like, how can I be me and exist and coexist and be a part of effectively with others? You know what I mean? Because I'm too much for a lot of people. You know what I mean? I'm too loud.
It's too real. It's like, you talk about too much real stuff. Like, what do you mean real stuff? This is reality. Like,
they want you to play the game. They call it the game. And you know, you gotta, well, you know, no, explain. Tell me. No, I don't know. You know what I mean? Because it's like, if you want something to change, and if you want something to be better, why do we continue to give into the infrastructures and the systems and things that have oppressed for so long?
Right.
Lead us down the wrong path. You know what I mean? So
Facts.
I'm still trying to figure it out, bro.
Well, I mean, you're off to a great start, and honestly, like, way ahead of the game compared to most people, because I think the biggest thing that a lot of people have reservations for is ending that external search and the kind of blame game. You know, everyone always tries to put their problems and sufferings on other people. They always want to act like, you know, it's certain situations that they can't get out of. And it's just like, no, like, you're born from a reference frame of me, myself, and I. That's the one you got, you know. And if you're not going to, you know, pick yourself up your own bootstraps and make things work, then they're never gonna. You're just going to be left complaining to the skies. And I think that's the one cool thing about the journey of, like, inner healing and, like, you know, this kind of just curiosity of self and self-mastery and self-exploration, is that until you hold yourself accountable for your actions and be like, okay, well, I can choose how to respond or how to react to people, then you're always going to get caught up getting played by others. You know, and I think that's one of the first things that I found, is that when I started to finally question all this stuff, it's all those same judgments for myself that just kind of dropped away. You know, this insecurities, these pressures, all this nonsense that I was persecuting myself over, that was stopping me, like what you were saying earlier, like, not getting things onto a page, not expressing myself. Those seeds of doubt were just cutting me down from any type of action I could make. And again, holding myself back from greatness. So, there's an immense amount of opportunity for everyone to really look within and question everything that they've been through, and to come back to that point where it's a story of me, myself, and I. Like, it's your life's journey. Like, don't hold yourself to anyone else's standard. Like, I'm a big believer and knower that, the creator, God, the universe, love, eternal fire, whatever you want to call it, we were all made to express our own unique spark. And the goal of life for me is, or at least one of the goals in life, is to figure out who you are first. Like, and it's funny that people were asking you in your school experience too, is like, what do you want to be? What do you want to do? Oh, your potential, this, is that we push so much pressure on that shit, but we don't ever ask the question, well, who are you?
Right.
Who am I? Like, who was Peter before he got named? Like, that's a big driver for me. It's like, okay, well, how did I come into this world? We're so much more free and liberated as kids. And like, when you go through that healing, you liberate yourself from all that shit we learn as adults.
Listen, being around, and that was another thing that really I had a aha moment, was being around babies and their concept. There is no concept of fear. You know what I mean? It's everything I see. I see it. I want to go touch it, and then I want to put it in my mouth. There's nothing that I can't do. I can't walk, but I'm going to scoot off this couch because I don't want to be here no more. So I'm just going to roll over. You know what I mean? And I want to see what's on top of the table. So I'm just going to pull myself up, or I'm just going to drop. I'm just going to go. There's no fear. You feel me? Oh, you're over there and I'm over here. I don't realize that there's a gap right here. I'm just going to go and expect you to catch. I just expect I'm going to get to you. You know, and I'm like,
yeah. Wow,
like, where do we lose that? And then I see, I know where we lose it is when we're like, oh, don't do that, because we try to prevent them from getting hurt or injuring themselves severely, or we project a possibility that, hey, this kid might be able to pull himself up and then put himself down and not bump his head. The odds are he's going to bump his head, but he could be the anomaly. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're little dribbling balls and stuff in the house all day and all night. Stop dribbling the ball. He could have been the next LeBron, Michael. She could have been the next Lisa Leslie. We don't know. But we project on them when they're little, and they're like, like even like little girls that are just vocal. You feel me? And then they're like told, you talk too much, or kids are honest. They see, oh, you're fat. You can't say that about people. No, she is fat. I would never say that, but they're honest. And we're like, oh, you can't do that. You can't tell the truth to people. Why not?
Ooh. And then that's the crazy thing right there, because you think about it, it's just like, at how young of an age do we learn that deception and lying and fear are primary motivators, that we should always be having this in our mindset? And then you start to think like you're projecting that possibility of failure all the time.
Kids, toddlers, training phase. Think about it. When we learn and pick up our most habits, we're under the care of someone else, daycares, schools.
Yeah.
You feel me? We're learning, and it's being put on us then, because, well, if you go here, this is what their rules and there is. And even at home, like, and it's based off of what your parents and were taught and their foundations, and just cultural and what's just accepted. Like, we don't. How can we teach what we don't know? How can we pass along something that we weren't exposed to? And when it's broken down, it really comes to exposure. You know what I mean? A lot of us weren't exposed to parents who were financially literate. We weren't exposed to the forward thinking and the just the different advantages that other people have who are more privileged than others are.
Yeah.
So the same cycles and things happen until somebody is like, I'm gonna think out the box. or
Right.
I'm gonna go left when you want me to go right, you know, because
Oh yeah.
in fear of disappointment, fear of I don't want to let anybody down, or I'm expected to be this, and trying to live up to other standards and expectations. You
Yeah.
know, we spend such a great deal of our lives trying to be accepted and validated
Yeah.
by everybody, and we don't get the chance to ask ourselves those questions and come to the point where we're even working on ourselves until something happens.
Right, some catalyst, some crazy event, and then you just you're rolling the dice at that point, like if you have the strength and the willpower to get through that shit.
And even when you don't know you do or don't, it's going through that,
Yeah.
and how what you tapped into to navigate through that and brought you out and learning about yourself, or you know, like, and you're like, whoa.
Well, it's
It's like,
crazy. It's ending generational suffering. Like we learn that shit. And again, like what you're saying, like we get it all before, like even like Western science loves to quantify things. And they're like, yeah, by the time you're 8 years old, you've already learned like 90% of what you're gonna know in terms of how to operate. And it's just like, then why aren't we putting more of a focus on teaching these little kids how to actually be compassionate, loving human beings? And that's not like compassion just isn't like an external love to others, it's a love for yourself. Like being able to ask yourself these tough questions, like be open to these opportunities that could be a success or a failure, regardless, you're going to learn.
right. But where are they gonna get it from? Think about it. How many people's parents are at that point? Like think about
That's a hard percentage to ask. I'd say very little.
right. And babies having babies. Think about, they haven't even gone through their discovery phase yet, but they're bringing another life into this world.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Think about people that adults and stuff that are even walking and existing now that haven't, that just ignore it. You know what I mean? And it have been so conditioned, and they're so set with where they are, who they are, and how things are supposed to be and look and go, that they're not even entertaining it.
Yeah, they're still running away. They're still in that external search,
Mm-hmm.
filling things up, filling the void up with nothing, nothing of sustenance.
Our denial. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
think about, we don't address trauma. We don't talk about it.
It's stigmatized. That's the worst part. Mental health, emotional health, everything is just, it's deemed as an issue. And it's like, if you have an issue, it's like, ooh, stay away. Like, ooh, I don't want to deal with that. You're a baggage, you're a problem. It's the most important stuff, yo.
Big time.
It is. And I think the craziest part about all this that I've found is, for myself, it took me a catalyst of, getting arrested and going through my own shit.
What?
And getting oh yeah, people don't understand, like Peter's got more street cred than most fools. Like I've been locked up, yo. Like
Pistol ready.
but it was one of those things where, I could have easily have taken that situation and hated the world, because that was the point of where I was at, in like that teenage years, just like hated everything, wasn't accepted, wasn't all this other stuff, decided to just lash out. And it took that inner looking of just being like, okay, well, what do I do now? Like, it's that inner search of actually asking myself the tough questions of, it's like, okay, well, who am I? Like, really, who am I at my core? Because none of this felt right, yet I'm here. So what am I going to do about it? And I think there's so many parents out there who haven't undergone their own healing or even questioning of like who they are. And whether they realize it or not, you're passing on your pains onto your kids. And this is how we have that generational like baggage that just gets handed down from kid to kid, because, as children, we're learning how to people from our parents and those who raised us. And like, it's just something I find is so underutilized, but it could easily fix so many of our societal problems in just like what, a few years, a few generations, if that at most. Like, I would say we could fix it in one, but I'm ambitious.
That's super forward thinking.
Well, even just school, like I know for myself, like whether people want to call it meditation or not, just teaching kids introspection, teaching kids how to be like enforcing their curiosity and like rewarding it is it's so important. And it's incredibly powerful, because I remember I used to get told to shut up because I asked too many questions. I was a smart ass. But it's that point right there, like
wanted to know. I genuinely just wanted to know.
And that's the thing right there that, I think is that shared flow characteristic. It's just like being genuine enough to actually be open enough to receive any type of insight or experience, ultimately, to learn and grow.
It's even still shunned to this day. Like, it just amazes me, even now, like asking successful people questions or things, or like for help, and it's like, figure it out. What? What do you mean? Like, I asked you a question, like, oh, I don't know, figure it out. But you do it. You've done it. You've accomplished it. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh yeah.
It's just it's weird. It's like people that know, some people that know want to hold on and be like, you'll figure it out. I don't want to share. I don't want to give it. You know what I mean? If you really want to know, you'll figure it out. And like, watch you go through these trials and tribulations and scrapes and bruises and shit when you don't know what could have sparked or happened from that conversation or that exchange. You know what I mean? Rather than me, we're here trying to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out a lot of shit. You know what I mean? On top of, like, it's crazy.
Well, that's a perfect point though, right there though, is I find that if you're ready to ask a question and you're actually like doing that unsolicited, you're ready to hear an answer. And I know, like, for myself, that was one of those weird old school things where it's like information was hidden from me. Like, they would do like, yeah, go look it up, that type of shit. But like, in terms of just straight up no's, like like what you were saying, like, go figure that out for yourself. Like, nah, like my whole life could have been entirely different through like 4 conversations, like straight up. That's all it took.
That's all it took. But people don't have the time because they got their own stuff going on, and I get that. And I feel like there's a difference between hand-ups and handouts. You know what I mean? Like, when you know somebody and you see somebody's ambition and work ethic and how they move and how they do, anything that you drop is a nugget, a hand up. You feel me? You just say, you don't know what you just saved me from doing by doing that. You feel me? But if I'm here like, there's no hustle about me, there's no work ethic about me, there's no ambition about me, there's no nothing, and all I do is complain, and this, like, they're looking for a handout. There's a difference. You know what I mean? And it's like, in our world and in society, it's like everybody is, I'm out for me, myself, and mine. That is just,
it's so backwards.
Yeah, we could do way better, bro.
Well, I guess the thing is here though is not many people have gone through that healing, and I always, recommend, or not really recommend, I always like to applaud people and, let them know and give them my praise, because it's like, it takes a lot of courage to ask yourself these questions and to actually hold yourself accountable to go through this process of like conscious healing by choice, and not by force of life. Because again, like, you're going to learn regardless. Like, when you go around that circle 8 times, life's going to be like, all right, we just got to make this. We got to sprinkle in some extra spice for this, because like, they're still not getting the lesson. But when we have the opportunity to actually wake up and you have those aha moments, it always comes in the most subtle of ways. That's why I love it when you're like with babies. Many of mine were when I was like teaching kids, like 4 to 16. I was just like, oh my gosh, that's my parents. That's me. Oh shit. That young? Oh, and then sitting down and marinating in that, being like, damn, this shit's been going on for like
a
hot minute. Yeah, a while. Because who knows how long their parents were doing it, or their parents' parents were doing it.
Listen, that's what's tough, because you see, when you are on the outside and you're looking at from a different perspective, or into someone else's, you're like, huh? You're like, whoa. You're like, abort. But it's like you said, it's like, once that, I call it rock bottom, whatever rock bottom is for that situation or that person. It's like the people that go to jail for long extents long extended periods of times, and then they come back completely different. What was able to happen? You were able to get isolated for a certain time where it was just you, yourself, and what. Okay, let's get to hammering. You feel me? Let's get diving in, and for those like myself who faith-based, like I grew up in the church, so God was always present or something, but it wasn't, I didn't understand spirituality. I didn't understand like the self relationship with spirituality over religion.
There was tears.
Yeah, because we're taught religion in churches. We're taught specific for this beneficial of this diocese. You feel me? And not so much the personal spiritual relationship, because we are spiritual beings. You feel me?
Yeah, I do.
We are just mirror images of that beam and that entity, whatever it is for you.
Yeah.
We are mirrors of that, are supposed to be. You feel me? We are extensions of that. So we're taught religion on one end over spirituality, and it's really hitting that rock bottom point and having some type of foundation to be able to, I can't carry this anymore. I can't be here. So listen, they say you're about that life. So let me tap into you and see what it is that you can do for me at this point, because if it's on me, it's over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody can get it anytime, any place. So let me tap in and depend on this to navigate me and show me and help me to not only be better so I don't get back here, but walk and do and move how I'm supposed to move forward and do better just overall in life. And from here on out, because I know what this feels like. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to feel this ever again. I don't want to experience this. Even though through this we learn so much, it just don't feel good going through. You feel me? Even today, I'm literally like, what is wrong with me? Like, what is the deal? Like, can I get a Hail Mary? Listen, I'm in the end zone, bro. Can I get a pass?
I love it. I love it.
Listen, I get it. Can we flip? Can we help me? Yeah, I don't know.
Ooh, even that though, right there is a huge thing. It's just, asking for the strength from the ancestors and angels always watching. It's what you're saying though, is like having a foundation in something that gives you the strength to get through that valley of the shadows of death. Like that's what it takes to really not lose all hope, I feel, when you're in those dark times of like the catalyst, what you need. Because again, like everyone has to go through that low of lows. I like to think of it almost like kind of like slingshotting behind a planet or like around a planet. It's like if you want to get to the next planet and explore that playground and world, like you got to go through the shadow behind until you can get thrown out into space and enjoy your life, So like it's just when you understand that's like the process is like that, it gives you that opportunity to really be grateful for everything that happens. And I find that that's been something that it took a while, but like understand that everything is grace building you up to being like the most awesome divine being you are. Like I see everyone as a god and goddess of creation. And when we lose that, that's when bad shit starts to happen in our world. But it's like, so I mean, like I'm loving this thus far, because it comes back to that point where it's like each of us are divine beings, as you said. And what was it? It was let me gotta check my notes real quick. It was unity. It was the in the Lost Tapes, and it was like all God's children liberate their minds and transform the people. Like to me, it's just like, oh my gosh, like if only we could live in that world where people just instantly had that aha moment where they're like, this isn't it.
Yeah. And like Angela Davis said it. Once we liberate our minds, we really free the people. Think about it. What do we wrestle and go back and forth with this more than any person, anything, like I said, we'll talk ourselves in and out of an idea concept that really could, in the matter of moments. You feel me? When they tell you the power of thoughts, you know, even religion, and no matter which book you're reading and whatever it is, the focus is always the mind. If we knew how powerful this is, and how we can train it, as powerful as it is, we can train it,
Yes.
but it's already trained to think what? Worst case scenario. Why is it always worst case scenario? Why can't it be best case scenario? Or why can't it be what I want it to be? Why, when I share an idea or something, the first thing that comes to somebody else's mind is what could happen or go wrong? What do we say? What's the worst that can happen? What could possibly?
So
Why?
you're already setting yourself up for that bullshit.
You're already setting yourself up for it. And but we
Yeah.
learn it. We learn. They call it cautious, being careful, plan.
Or worse, realistic.
Yeah, be real. What's a realistic expectation? Just because you couldn't achieve what you thought you wanted to be because it really wasn't your passion or what you are, why do you have to put that on me? You know what I mean? It's like Jay-Z said
Yeah.
about his uncle telling him, you can't sell 1 million records. He said, I sold 1 million records like 100 million times. Like, you know what I mean? And like he said, it was his uncle. He didn't think he meant anything malicious behind it, but he was just projecting onto him, you know, his fears and his thoughts. And it happens young. You know what I mean? When they're flipping around, like they could be a gymnast. They could be, you know, they could be, we never know. We put, because we go through things, or we see things navigating through life, and it's like we steal our own innocence, we steal our own ambition and drives, listening to the rhetoric. You know what I mean? Sharing our dreams, our goals, our passions, our loves, our desires, you know what I mean? Just being vulnerable and thinking that everybody has your best interest, or people are like we are. No. Definitely no.
Hard no on that one.
Hard no, bro. Like, no.
And that's the thing is, like, you know, again, like yourself, I'm still learning. I still get used by people every now and then, but like, because again, I just have a kind heart. I expect the best interest. Like, hey, I'm going to treat you in a certain way. Like, that's the standard of expectation. Like,
that's it. I treat people how I want to be treated. So it's a foreign concept to me when they're like, oh, you're too nice and you can't do, like, what does that mean? Like,
how else should we be?
Yeah, like it literally, it racks my brain, because I'm really trying to figure out how to move and navigate in those capacities. And I can't. And it's too much for me to try to figure out, because then it takes away from me and who I am, what I'm supposed to give. And it's just like, no, I don't want to be taken advantage of. No, I don't, you know. So it's like, then you go through the phase. It's like, well, you're looking at everybody, like, and then you're sensitive, and then you're emotional, and it's because you're like, I'm trying to foresee things before they happen.
Yeah, and then it's the same thing as the mind games. You're just like, you're projecting that shit out into reality, and then it's like,
this is too much. If it happens, it happens. Oh well.
You're gonna get what you're gonna get, regardless of how much you try to run away from it. It's gonna happen at one point. You might as well embrace it right now.
Right.
And that's something that's so fascinating to me, is like that egoic expression of separation and otherness. The fundamental knowledge that was really stripped away from everybody was that, it was what you were saying earlier, is that we're all just like mirrors of each other. I express it as like, we're all fractals of the one. It's like a trippy, like one of those trippy kaleidoscope things where it's like the one shape created everything, you know, like we're all shining through that same prism of the one, where it scatters all the different colors. Like, you're your own ray, I'm my own ray, everyone, you listening, you're your own ray, you know. And that knowledge was taken from us fundamentally, because how much would our world change if everybody overnight had that aha moment where it's just like, oh, the same divine life that flows through me, that gave me my sense of self, is the same one that gave you your sense of self. And it's the same thing, like even my cat, my dog, rest in peace, you know, like every being that has come into existence stems from that same one thing. How much would that just mind blow people if you had to experience that fully?
I mean, according to what we're taught, depending on your spiritual beliefs, when that happens, that means it's time for the creator, the entity, to come back. Feel me? Because then we're made whole, right? Because until then we're broken, right?
Yeah.
Because some are enlightened, some aren't. Some are with the shit, some not. You see? You know what I mean? Some are about the cause, the collective, the people, and that experience, but some aren't. But once we're all on one accord, when
Powerful.
everybody is, you know what I mean? What's happening? The only thing that can get through here is water. Because it molds any and everything.
Whew. Yo, I love it. Well, that's what we have to look at, like, why I'm very always skeptical of anything I've seen. I've been like this for like damn near 2 decades of my life, fully consciously aware, at least, of just like the blatant manipulation that keeps people in those mental traps of just like self-persecuted oppression. Like the divide and conquer idea. It's worked perfectly. And it's like, yo, like, when are we going to get the fact that it's unity above all else? That's,
because if it's not directly affecting me and mine, what do I care? No, seriously,
I feel it. It's true.
Mindset. You feel me? Oh, that's them over there. If we've proven anything within this past year, we've proven the power of programming, and we've proven the amount of waste that we have in the world, as far as from jobs to companies to just what they say you need to survive or to exist and be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've told them and shown them within the last year everything that's getting ready to happen. We gave them that information freely with this.
Tell me about it.
They know like market to us. They know how to program us. They know our likes, dislikes. They know our patterns. They know our think process. They know our blood type. You know what I mean? If we have a left kidney, you know what I mean? Like everything.
Facts.
To manipulate us more, to program us more, to control us more.
Well, I think it's funny though that like it comes back to that point of, if you put in your all in something and you actually be consistent with it, and you show that determination where it's like, yeah, I'm just going to keep going until they hear me, you're going to get heard. And I think that's something that everyone lacks nowadays, is the will to be consistency, or I should say like the willpower to be consistent and determined to being your unique self. Like, I don't give a fuck like what someone tells me now. Like, I'm right there with you, where it's like no judgments matter, because I can stay in my lane. I can continue to harness my craft, express my unique shine. And as long as I'm consistent and push myself through the adversity, you can will anything to be in this world. And I think that's something that's entirely missed. All right. Well, we are officially at our time limit, Chamel. So I just want to again say, thank you so much for bringing your real authentic self here on Creative Chat. And as always, thank you listeners for watching. Final closing words, Chamel, before the after show, that is.
Thank you for having me, bro. Continue to spotlight and shine and be the vessel that you are, and giving us these opportunities and these spaces to be ourselves and get to know us. Everybody watching, believe in yourself, love yourself. Don't lose your faith, don't lose your light. Continue to be you and show up in the world how you would want the world to show up for you. I think the most powerful quote is, be the change that you want to see.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And just, man, love you. Be you. Do good. Be good. Be great.
Love it. And we're going to have more insights on the after show. Exactly. So it's like, stay tuned. We'll tap in. Take care. Roll the outro.
That concludes this episode of Creatives Chat. Thank you for watching. Join us every Thursday at 3:33 p.m. Pacific Daily Time as creative minds get together and chat about who knows what. View more episodes on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks again to our sponsors for making this show possible. Thank you, LoyaltyGutterServices.com and WeAreHistorically.com. Conscious Human Apparel.
Hi, I'm Darius Wilrich. I'll teach you everything you need to know about playing jazz piano like a pro with my 12-week online video course and downloadable guidebook, Jazz Piano Pro Essentials. Enroll today at jazzpianopro.com.
Thanks for joining us. Have a happy always.
Oh, yeah.